So now we are going to see what is a mutual fund. Mutual fund क्या है हम देखने की कोशिश करते हैं अभी. So as you know, direct stock picking is as an individual, I need to devote my time. I need to spend time to pick companies, do the valuations of the companies, and then pick up the stocks myself from the market. Now, if I don't have the time, if I'm working professional, spending so many hours a day, need to devote time to family as well on Saturday, Sunday, I don't want to do this analysis, paralysis. So, we need to have an alternative for working professionals. So, the alternative is mutual fund. So, this mutual fund is something which is managed by somebody called as a fund manager. So this fund manager is much more qualified than most of the retail investors. So what happens in the case of a mutual fund is we have a lot of retail investors who want to participate in the stock selection but don't have the time. So because they don't have the time, they entrust the money or the capital which they have to somebody else who is called as the fund manager of the mutual fund house. So once this money is allocated to the mutual fund house, the fund manager takes the money and then using that money, using that capital, he has his own set of processes which needs to be followed to pick up companies, to evaluate companies, and then he himself will pick up the stocks and review on a daily basis or quarterly basis based on the different criteria used by the specific mutual fund. So now it is almost the same aspect what an individual would have done, that is done by the fund manager and in much better way. So that is about what a mutual fund is. A different collection of people coming together, pulling money, fund manager takes the money and then invests into different companies and creates your portfolio of stock which is seen as a single mutual fund name. So now that we have seen what is a mutual fund, we are going to see the second aspect, which is how many types of mutual funds are there. So the second aspect, which is the different types of mutual funds, there are a plethora of different types of mutual funds available in the market today. But to keep it simple, on a very broad level, there are three types of mutual funds. The first type of mutual fund is equity mutual fund, the second is debt mutual fund, and the third is hybrid mutual fund. So now equity mutual fund is clear enough. Equity mutual fund will invest most of the capital provided by the retail investors into stocks or companies. Debt mutual fund, whatever capital is allocated to the fund manager, they will allocate that fund to provide loans to the company, and this loan, the interest which is paid back by the companies, is given to the retail investors. So that is about debt. And hybrid, of course, is a mixture of equity and debt. So now there are different ratios of hybrid mutual fund. Some of them could have 65% of equity, some of them could have like 35% of equity. Based on that, your tax implication would arrive to. Other than equity, debt, and hybrid, within equity, there are different classes of mutual fund as well. In a broad level, there is a large cap mutual fund which is less riskier, which is more stable. We have mid cap, which is slightly more riskier than a large cap, and then you have finally small cap, which is much more riskier than a large or a mid cap. And the returns provided by each of these categories varies. So the stability of a large cap is much better, but the returns is equally comparatively lesser than mid cap. It could be like for a large cap you would expect a return of 12%, for a mid cap you would expect a return of 13%, and a small cap you could expect a return of 14%. These are average returns. You could expect even more. Now let us see how to buy the mutual fund. अभी हम देखेंगे म्यूचुअल फंड को कैसे खरीदा जाए. For buying mutual fund, there is old traditional method as well as modern methods. In a traditional method, you visit the bank, you fill a form, and you give the capital in different forms, and then the person sitting at the desk will give you a receipt of your investing. That is the traditional method. But if you want to use the modern method, there are different platforms available. There is CAMS, there is Grow, there is small case platform available where you can invest your capital. It's just a matter of having your Aadhaar card easily available as well as your PAN and your bank account details available. You need to log in, you need to register using all these documents, and there you go. Your account is ready to buy a mutual fund. Now, when you buy a mutual fund is associated with a NAV, net asset value. Like how a stock price has a price associated with itself, every mutual fund will have a NAV price. Now, depending on the number of units you want to buy, for example, the NAV on the particular mutual fund is about 15, and you want to buy 100 units on that NAV, so that means 100 into 15, which is 1500 rupees. This is the total amount which you need to be keeping ready in your bank account so that you can invest into the specific mutual fund. Now, when you buy a mutual fund, there is a minimum starting investment which you need to do. Sometimes the minimum starting could be 5,000 depending on the type of mutual fund. Mostly debt mutual funds have the minimum criteria of 5,000, but equity mutual fund, I believe, can offer as low as even 500 rupees to start off with. So you can choose your comfort level. You can browse through which are the mutual funds which are giving you a startup, the initial cost which is involved to put your capital. Then nevertheless, you need to keep the initial minimum investment amount available for you, and then subsequent investments can be of a smaller denomination or smaller amounts. It could be as small as as small as the NAV. The NAV could be like 15 rupees. You just even put 15 rupees to buy a single unit, but the initial amount can be higher than the NAV. So this brings us to the completion of understanding of mutual fund. Do read my book on investing. It's more about how you can pick up direct stocks. It also gives some suggestion of an alternate approach other than direct stocks. And the stocks which I have suggested in the book, that is Dodge the Recession, is more on investing altogether. It shows you what kind of portfolio allocation you need to have. So definitely it's going to be of help. It's a very easy to read language. It's a very easy to follow process which you can follow any year, any time of your career. You can read the book, and if you have any questions on the book, please reach out to me.